Hello. In case you couldn't tell from the extremely spooky surroundings, I'm going to do another reading of Reddit scary stories. Oh my gosh, we have a spooky cat. I came across a story that I wanted to read yesterday, and it was a three-parter. Baby? Yes, I found a Reddit no sleep scary story, and I'm gonna read it to you. The camera's crooked and it's really bothering me. I did nothing. I'm gonna pretend it's better. I know what you're thinking. Sarah, won't you be scared? Also, Sarah, it's getting darker. We can't see you. And to that I say, I've never felt safer. But we might need more light. Okay, this is good enough for a spooky video, I feel. So let's do this. There's also a mirror right here and you can see the back of my head in it. So like, please let me know if throughout this you see demons. So like I said, this is a 3-part series and it's called I Found My Suicide Note from Years Ago. I Didn't Write It. Part 1. If you're triggered by suicide, consider the title your trigger warning. I'm a pretty happy guy. I left state for college after high school, got a degree in psychology, and now work as a counselor for 2 high school age kids. My little brother Mac is happily married with a 2-year-old son, which makes my mom turn her attention to me, heckling me when I'll be able to give her more grandbabies. I feel that because last time I came home, my mom was like, my grandkid clock is ticking, and I was like, I'm 21. Life has been very good, but I recently discovered something that may turn everything upside down. I wonder if it's the suicide note. My dad needed help cleaning out the attic, something which he said hadn't been done since Reagan was in office. I agreed to help, but my brother wouldn't be joining us since he had work. I had only been in the attic a handful of times throughout my entire childhood, so being up there again felt surreal. Dust and cobwebs coated every box, chair, and trinket in sight. I almost had 2 heart attacks thanks to a couple of rats scurrying around, but my father and I managed to sort through my things, figuring out what was needed and what we could throw away. While my dad took a break, going down to the kitchen for a drink with my mom, I continued to curiously scour the attic. That was when something colorful caught my eye. It was one of my old comic books, lying unceremoniously on an end chair in the corner. I picked it up, waves of nostalgia surging through me as I admired the front cover, which depicted my favorite superhero, the Hulk, raising a car over his head, his teeth clenched. It had to have been almost 15 years since I had last seen that book. I was surprised at how good a condition it was in. The rats hadn't touched it. I flipped it open and began thumbling through the pages, enjoying a little piece of the past that had been forgotten. As I neared the middle of the book, however, a single sheet of white paper, folded horizontally, slipped out and drifted slowly to the floor, coming to land at my feet. I kept a finger on the last page I had stopped on so as not to lose my place, and bent down to pick up the paper. Opening it, I began to read the message that had been written. I can't take it anymore. I wish that someone could understand what I'm going through, but no one ever will. Mom, I love you so much, and I hate to do this to you, but it's the only option I have. Dad, you did your best for me and Mac, but still, I have to go. By the time you read this, I know it will be done. Don't tell my friends the truth about what happened. Don't bury me either. I don't want to be worm food. Mac, you were the best brother in the world, and just know that this is not your fault. I'll be singing with the angels and watching over all of you from now on. I stared at the note for a long time after I finished reading. I read it again and again, not knowing whether or not this was a joke. If it was, then it was cruel, and I didn't think that anyone I knew was capable of doing such a thing. I stared harder at the words. My heartbeat hammered against my ribcage as I pondered the possibility of the note being legit. The handwriting was very similar to my own and written in orange ink, my favorite color pen to use when I would write in my journal or when I would write stories when I was younger. Okay, sidetrack. When I was in high school, I would always write in like really colorful pens, and I would always take French test in orange, and my teacher would grade in red, which like teachers hate. I never used red pen or orange, and my French teacher on every assignment would write n'écrivez pas d'orange. My entire family's French, and if any of them see this, I'm gonna be disowned. Meow meow. But she would always write like n'écrivez pas d'orange, and like don't write in orange, and I would always write in orange, and that was just a story of me being a bitch. Moving on. Okay, orange pen, favorite, blah blah blah. My head was spinning. Could it be possible that I had written this and simply suppressed the memory? Darbs? I jumped, spinning around and hiding the note instinctively behind my back. My dad was standing near the entry to the attic, a confused look on his face. Everything okay? Yeah, Dad, I'm fine. Thank you. Just a little thirsty. Guess I should have taken my break too. You mind grabbing me a glass of water? One glass of water? Coming right up, he replied. But as he descended the stairs, I could see him watching me closely. As soon as he was out of sight, I folded the note into a square and stuffed it in my pocket. I waited until I finished my water before telling my dad I needed to get some errands done and that I would help him finish the attic another time. I went home and immediately tried comparing the handwriting in the note to my own. My current handwriting was a lot neater, but I could totally imagine myself as a teenager or preteen writing the way the message was written. Then again, if someone had been trying to copy my handwriting style, then it would explain the slight differences. After a couple of hours of questioning my childhood, I decided to sleep on it. Maybe I would call my brother and ask him if he remembered anything traumatic happening when we were younger. I laid in bed for hours, but just as I was about to drift off, I received a text message from my mother. You found it, didn't you? I was reading through the comments, and first of all, someone talked about Nickelback, so like, people are either saying that he should reply to his mom and just say, like, talk about the comic and be like, oh yeah, it must be worth a lot of money, and not say he knows anything. And then other people are saying your mom is trying to kill you. And if we're being honest, I skipped ahead to part 3, but I didn't read it. I just read the comments, and they were all like, oh my god, what a twist, didn't expect that. And so, very excited. I think I'm gonna decide in editing whether or not part 1 is going to be like one thing and then part 2 and part 3, but I'm gonna read them all right now because like I gotta. So part 2 might be coming to you in 1 second, or it might be coming to you like tomorrow.